All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Live. It is your March 7th edition. And Stephen, how are you, buddy?
Very good. Kids go back to school Monday. Yay!
Yeah, our school district did the same thing. They're going to be opening up classes. They've changed the regulation to 3 feet apart versus 6 feet
Mm.
apart. So a lot of changes happening for the youngsters going back to school, and that's interesting. So tell me about your kids.
Well, at home I've got Izzy, who's 13. It's her birthday today, so she turned 13 today.
Oh,
Teenager in the house, and then I've got Emmy and Ollie. Ollie is 7, Emmy is 8, and we've got 3 older ones that are all grown up. That twin girls 23 and a lad who's 24, doing brilliantly. But the kids themselves, the younger ones, I've been teaching for God knows how long now, and so they go back to school tomorrow, which means I get my mornings back, which is going to be great because I can drop the kids at school. I can get out here for 9:30 in the morning, work right the way through without any distractions, have lunch, and then I go back to my usual routine of coming in here to answer support tickets for an hour, pick up the kids at 3:15, spend an hour with them, have tea, get them to bed, and come out and do some more work. But it's the mornings that I've been missing most of all, because it's so restrictive on how many. When you're working long hours, you get very tired, and then you can't focus as well. And next week, I've got the rest of my training to finish ready for my own webinar. So that's exciting. So yeah, so it's all coming together. You muted yourself, Daryl.
so when your kids go back to school, are there any specific things that they're implementing for them?
The younger ones, there's no COVID testing with the younger ones as yet.
Mhm.
Izzy will have COVID testing, but they'll all be doing their own. And basically, it's being kept in their own bubbles. So everyone will be kept in their own bubbles. So yeah, so it's super. Yeah, I'm super excited that we're getting back to some normality. I'm
Yeah.
pleased to say. So
Will they all have to wear masks? Will they like different? Is there specific instructions that they have like for starting
uh,
school?
Izzy has to wear a mask. The younger ones don't because they're kept in their own bubbles.
I see.
And they're smaller bubbles for schools. So
I see.
for at least for our schools anyway. So it's not so bad really. So no, it's coming together, and it's just nice to get back on track with the work I've got to get done because
Yeah. Yeah.
with running a family life and everything else, you just get more more and more tired by the minute by all the hours you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing both is very difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you guys are just joining us live today, we do this every Sunday. We spend about an hour or so. We do a giveaway toward the end. We also take guests to join the call as well. We had 3 guests last time, so that was really great. So if you're joining us, go ahead and put your comment in the chat. Say who you are, where you're tuning in, and we would love to hear from you in the chat box today. So go ahead and do that. If you have any questions, of course, you can throw them at us anytime because we always answer questions on the Sunday live broadcasts. So still poking around with Clubhouse. I know you don't have an iOS device, but I do recommend anybody, if you do get Clubhouse, to put it on an old device or something like that instead of your main phone, because one, it will kill your battery. 2, it could run up your data. So I recommend putting it on your Wi-Fi signal and making sure that you don't put it on something that you're going to be annoyed by all the notifications. It's just insane. The other reason why I suggest putting it on another device is I would remove all of the contacts that you don't want to send a notification to, because with Clubhouse, as soon as you put your device on the app on, it's going to ask you to connect your contacts. And if you've got tons and tons of contacts on there that you don't want Clubhouse to know who they are, I would recommend having it on an old iPad or an old phone and working off a Wi-Fi with it. You do have to give them a phone number to sign up. And that phone number kind of goes with you. I'm not sure what happens if you change your phone or how that all works, but yeah. And so that's how that works. You got the Don jumping in to say hello. Don, we pushed that domain to you for chatbots.com, but there's something that you have to do or something I have to do because it hasn't officially transferred over. You play a little bit of ping pong with GoDaddy when you're transferring something over as a domain. And it's like each side has to approve like twice. It's like a double opt-in kind of thing. So reach out to me, Don, and we'll make sure that gets transferred over to you. I took it out of the auctions and stuff like that. So that domain is yours to have. So, so yeah. Is anything else new? I know that you jumped on the other day because there was a little bit of a hiccup, but I don't think that it had anything to do with our hosting, right? It had to do with something else.
Yeah, the issue was there was a major network outage somewhere that only took down the hosting for MPP and my hosting, but it also took out, I don't know what the other major player was, but there's another major player that went down as well. And within 15 minutes, MPP and Lead Gen Magic Hosting was back up for people, for the websites, not for the control panel, because that's routed through a different network. And so they instantly within 15 minutes they rerouted everything for everyone.
Wow!
So that your sites were all running fine. Mm-hmm. It's the first time in 10 years where I've been using the servers where we've had a network outage, and it was out of our control. It was a third party that caused the issue, and it was quite a major outage because I got told there was another player that used the same data center that were out as well. So but the servers sorted themselves out, and sites came back. I knew about it the moment it happened because I've got alarms in place that tell me these things. So but it was, and then within probably about an hour, everything was back to normal. So a lot of people wouldn't have even noticed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's why with any hosting, it's always 99.99999% uptime, because I don't care what it is. I mean, I've dealt with the club, even the Cloud House hosting, and once in a while they get a little bit of downtime with that, depending on where you're checking the website from, because sometimes it could be just a local network issue between the monitoring service and the server. So it can be a lot of little things like that. But yeah, the clouds pretty much stay up all the time. But yeah, so that's that. So anything else going on with the templates club? I think you're getting them a little at a time, right? And turning them over to the not client themes. I'm thinking of the right thing.
Child themes.
Child themes.
Yeah. We are getting there with them. I know that there's some I know there's some updates being done on your form as well, aren't there? That we're waiting on.
You don't have to wait for those. They're just fixing the issue that you reported, but it doesn't matter. They're all going to be fixed. It's just when they did an update, it jumbled up a few things with the description bodies, but you shouldn't have to wait. I would just go right ahead and do your thing.
But this week I'll have a lot more hours to get on with stuff, and I'm not whilst I teach people on webinars and one-to-one, I'm not a sort of teacher that teaches English, maths and science and PE and all that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's been fun over the last God knows how many months I've been doing it for now. But it's a relief they're going back. I just really hope in the UK, well, around the world anyway, but in the UK, that people will be sensible. Wear masks, wash your hands, do all the sensible things you need to do. Don't be silly. Don't go to lots of parties and meet up with lots of people. All right, let's get through this for the sake of, let's just say it took another year before we were safe, all of us were safe to be able to meet up again. What's
Right.
12 months to that waiting maybe 3 years? And so I hope in the UK people are going to be sensible enough so we can get back to some normality and kids can stay in school. I can run my business and get back to some normality myself because it's mad.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, the U.S. is kind of leading the way with regard to the vaccines, and I'm really happy that that's happening because we're starting to see things open up. And I think these vaccines have proven, like, I haven't heard of anybody, dying or having any kind of major issues with the vaccine. So the thing is that the numbers keep plummeting as these vaccines get into arms, and so that's really, really good. And a lot of people I've been talking to are really looking forward to 2021 as far as economically. In these hard hit industries like travel and tourism and all that kind of stuff, they need the business. And I think a lot of people are eager to get out there and start traveling and start visiting and that kind of stuff. So Julie's review.
I agree.
Hello. Thanks for checking in on YouTube tonight. We have Don. A little bit of a light crowd. I'm going to send out a little message here to send out to people. So go ahead, and if you don't mind talking a little bit, I'll go ahead.
I actually recognise Julie because she signed up for a webinar I'm doing Monday night. So so hello, Julie. Nice to see you come over to our channels. I mentioned to a few people in other groups that we do this. So I've had a few new people sign up and what have you, and I've mentioned your YouTube channel to get people on there. I must set one up myself soon. With everything at the moment, building these things up, it's super fun at the moment. So yeah. So. Yeah, but it's a bit quieter tonight. Maybe we've got an easier night, Daryl.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone's off. Maybe everyone's gone off down the pubs now. Now maybe they're reopened in the world. I don't know. Not in the UK anyway.
I don't know. Well, now can you tell me a little bit about the webinar you were doing? I noticed you had it on Webinar Jam, which I tried them out, and I got to tell you, I had the first failure of my first webinar in there. I don't know if it was a learning curve for me or what, but that just didn't work for me.
I've used Webinar Jam on and off. Thank you, Julie. She's looking forward to the Webby. I've used Webinar Jam on and off. I've been a member with them for quite a while, ever since they did the AppSumo deal. So I got a lifetime deal out of them, and I've tested it, and I did a test more recently because they had upgraded me from the old version to the new one for free. And I played around with it, and I had 10 people on it, and it was reliable. It worked well. Didn't have any major issues. So I've done some advanced playing around with it, so I'm happy with it. But the webinar Monday evening, tomorrow night, or it could be the next day if you're in Australia. It's 10 p.m. GMT time, so it'll be the same time as we start this. And it's basically Peter Drew's released his SEO software that basically the way it works is it will generate G sites, it will generate just going to go through the list, YouTube live videos, PDF that it saves to Google Drive, and all the properties together end up in a situation where you are then boosting up maybe a Google property. And so people in the group that I'm in, because I was lucky, I won a copy. And so the people in the group are having issues running it, playing around with it. So I decided to do a group sort of run of it, really. And then I mentioned it to someone else who said, "Oh, can I come along?" And I thought, right, I'll share it in my group, and I'll let people, come along to the webinar itself, and in that way, then if they can see this software in use, it's not for sale yet. I'm not selling it. It's a non-sales webinar. I'm not selling a single thing. So it's basically sort of, come along, see what I do. It's not going to be like your traditional webinar where the whole time I'm they're trying to pitch to you. It's going to be, this is how I set the software up. This is what I do to use it. This is me running it. And if it goes wrong in the middle of it, it goes wrong. I don't care. It's in beta mode.
That never happens, right? For any of us doing live, you just never know what's going to happen, right?
So I mean, Webinar Jam for me has been fairly reliable. You may have just been unlucky on maybe on an evening, or there's an issue, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, but it's certainly going to be interesting. I know you've signed up for it. You're going to jump in and watch it then? You got time?
I'm just going to troll you. I'm just going to jump in there and, make fun of everything you say in your British accent and, all that stuff. No, just kidding.
I mean, the idea behind it is just really to encourage people to have a look at the software. Someone asked me the other day, is it similar to his home software that he's released? A lot of his softwares, I'll be honest, they do very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference with it, I think, with this one is it does all of it in one hit, plus maybe some extra steps. So it's down to, if you're paying monthly for a piece of software from him, then
Mm-hmm.
personally, and you can afford to, then it pays you to say to yourself, you know what, I'll get this on a lifetime when he releases it, and then stop paying monthly for softwares. If it's a case that you're happy paying monthly, pay monthly. But it's interesting to play around with it, and it'll be interesting on the Webby tomorrow night. I'll be running through it and let you guys see what you think.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely check it out. So I have the screen open. I'm going to share my screen for a minute. I want to show you guys something here. If you're watching this, on Sundays, I'm doing a webinar that's a weekly webinar. So if you go in here and you go here, you'll see here and throughout the site, you'll see free webinar this week. You click on this and you go ahead and you can sign up. And it's going to take you to a GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar. And the next date is March 14th. So you can sign up for that. It's at the same time each time, 2 to 3 p.m., where we answer questions to people. Now, this week we ran it and we put the answers into, let's see where it is, on the Facebook group right here. I put in, if you missed, you can watch the recording. So I'll record them all. So if you can't watch it right then and there, all you have to do is put in your information and you can watch it on GoToWebinar at your leisure. Okay, so that's how that'll work. So I wanted to show that off to you. And then the other thing is a lot of people on Clubhouse are buying and selling domains from people. And I wanted to take a minute to show you what I do to find domains and see if it's at all helpful for you using expireddomains.net. A lot of people use this tool, but I want to point out a couple of things that you might not be aware of or have not been spending as much time with this as far as getting domains. I typically only buy expired or low cost domains. I don't typically buy anything, $500-600 unless I plan to build something on it. Some people are paying thousands and thousands of dollars for domains. But there's a bit of a profit to be had if you can buy a domain low and then sell it high, obviously. And with Clubhouse, there's hundreds and hundreds of people buying domains on there from different people in these marketplaces that are on there. So I'm seeing it firsthand, and you'll definitely be able to see it yourself if you get into Clubhouse. There's a few other networks as well. Hey, George, how are you? So what I want to show you is a couple of things that I do when looking for domains on expireddomains.net. Obviously, .coms are the best, right? That's where there's the most, so therefore it's more rare to get a really good domain on that. But when you set this up and you set up your account on here, which I think is free to do, there is a way under column manager, okay, to add all of these different columns in here, okay? And so I use sort of my mix of columns. You might have different ones that you choose to go with. Like in the SEO world, they use TrustFlow, right, to try to find a domain. So this one, only-herb, has a TrustFlow of 31, right? And it probably isn't available. Let's just go and click on it, because at least get grabbed right away. So we'll see if this is available. And
George is saying, are we muted? But I've just checked the feed, and I can hear you fine, Daryl. So
okay, good.
Just let you know.
It might be muted on the viewer that you're on. So I don't know if you can comment into the Facebook group that, but the other thing is that, okay, so these are some of the columns I use. So this CPC US, if you click on this, it shows you what cost per clicks are for that as a keyword. So that domain as an exact match keyword would have, like this one has a $479 CPC. So if you're building a website on mesothelioma, right, and you bought this domain, okay, and you could get it to rank, which would be a nightmare because it's really hard to rank for mesothelioma. But anyway, you could make a lot on your AdSense because you get a percentage of that on your site, okay, to have that. All right. So CPC also tells you how popular it is, because these are people that are spending money. Like this one surprised me, GPS fleet tracking, right? But people are paying some big time bucks for that as a term, right? So you can get a lot of niche ideas as well. So sometimes I'll just use this tool to see where people are putting their money into at a glance into different things. Obviously gambling, workers' comp, applying to a college, okay? Applying to a college is a niche, okay? And you can see other things over here. So under reg, you can see this is another field that I use. This is the number of TLDs the domain is registered, okay? So if you click on this, you can see this one here, which I don't know why. Somebody must have defensively bought a whole bunch of domains, but these here have a lot of other domains registered to them as well. And sometimes you question it because it's got a lot of hyphens on it. So I would get rid of the hyphens. So only characters, and hit apply. Okay, and then I would hit reg. But this is a great tool, not just for buying domains, not just for it's great because it gives you a whole lot of data. If you're buying, PBN or mini site links, this is a great place to go. WBY is for the Wayback Machine, and you can see how early they had snapshots for that domain. So a lot of times the older, the better. So this one is from 1994. That's extremely old, right? So this looks like it was a TV station or some kind, right? Way back in the day. So it only has a couple backlinks to it, but it has that domain age that goes back quite a bit. I just really enjoy this tool to go through, just to look at the historical analysis. Just like you can get lost on the Wayback Machine, just going through different sites and checking out what they used to be. Like, let's just take a look at this one here, and let's see if we can see what it used to be. Oh, let's see if it's for sale. Yeah, it is available. So yeah. So this website you could get domain.
Yeah, for $1.
1995, 1994. That's pretty old. That's an old domain, really. Interesting. So that's why I wanted to, while you guys were on here, I wanted to demonstrate some of the things that I do with this tool, expireddomains.net. You'll obviously get your own rhythm of things that you would do. I typically buy only things that are available, or I'll go into the marketplace and go to like a few of these closeouts where I can get it for under $50 a domain. So that's basically how I do it. I do kind of, I enjoy doing it to build projects. I don't like, just sit there and want to sit on it for 40 years, because it does add up, all of those, renewals and stuff. So if I can't build something on it myself, I'm not going to sit on it and, just wait for somebody to come along. But more people are doing that now. They're buying and selling in the wholesale market, where you have that velocity. You're able to buy and flip a domain much quicker, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there while we were waiting for more people to join us tonight, and show you a little trick that I use.
I've been playing with bots this week.
What kind of bots?
Well, I've been after my own bot that, and I'm halfway through building it. I basically I do it in my spare time so that I can focus on my main work. And so I've started building a bot that can auto install WordPress for me. So all I do, I type on it into the bot my username, a password I want to use, site name, bits, email address, and I run that, and it does all the install for me. And then when it gets to the other part, then automatically will install Elementor and the plugins I like to use the most. And then when it's done that, I can then go in and add my theme, because I get fed up with clicking and clicking and clicking. So on my VPS, I can just put the URL in, run it, leave it to run. So I'm just playing around with it at the moment, really, and see if it's something that's going to run smoothly, and maybe by next week I might have a demo bot to show people.
Cool.
So
is that a third party, something that runs as like a bookmark, or
it's installed as exe program? So you'd run it, it'd open up. It's three or four boxes at the top. You fill the data in, and then you click go, and it goes and sets the site up for you. And I'm building a further one that's going to work with Magic Page Hosting and my hosting, where it will actually log into your account for you, and do all the clicks to set up a subdomain. So let's say you own a main domain name, and you wanted to have a / folder, then it should be able to do that for you. And I'm just playing around with them. They're tools I want to use myself. It's to speed things up. But I'm not taking the bots too seriously at the moment, because there's other projects that are more important to work on. But it's a nice learning curve, and maybe one day I might come out with a product of my own that you can. You run it and it, builds things for you.
That would be cool. I've seen a few of these different, like, macro kind of situations where you train it to do something, and then it'll just do it. And there will be more and more of that in the future. A lot of that stuff is going to get bigger and better. So, Robert, welcome.
Evening, Robert. Welcome. Yeah. So it's sort of. I spend a lot of my time installing WordPress to then set up a child theme, and then add all the X fields and go through all of that. So I'm gradually just building and building and building on this, and hopefully I might get to a point where I have a bot that will start to finish install one of the child themes for you. You never know. Whether that's going to be something, ultimately it's a quick install of WordPress, because whilst it doesn't take too long to do, it still takes your time. And if you just enter in some details in 3 or 4 boxes and click go and leave it to do that WordPress install, then it's one less thing for you to sort of focus on, and then you can get on with some other work while it's doing it. It's paced to your, and especially if you end up, if you're lazy like me and you use the same username and password on a lot of them, which I do, I shouldn't do really, but I do. You could just set the same username and password and email address, and then it's just a case of pasting in the URL each time you want to set up a WordPress install. So, And I've been playing with a product that you recommended to me, Daryl.
What's that?
10 Web.
Oh yeah, Tone Web. Yeah.
They have. I'll tell you what, mate. When I first got it through AppSumo on Lifetime Deal, and I think there might be some sort of deal in AppSumo now, maybe. When I first got that, I'll be honest, it wasn't very good. But I stayed with them. I
Yep.
stuck with them, and they've improved it. You can enter in individual extra pages, and it's actually starting to build them a lot better than what it did at the start. So I'm actually quite pleased with them.
Yeah, I've been holding off from doing a webinar for them because when I did some conversions, the way that they set all of the tags and the titles of everything just was not optimized at all for SEO. And I know it's probably very difficult, but what I would do things a little bit differently where you could set your SEO terms and then it would label everything and make the tagging and stuff based on something that's SEO friendly. But I'm not sure if they're thinking that or not,
the idea with it is, let's say you found a website that you liked the look of.
Yeah.
The basic idea is you could go and copy that site, change it to your advantage, make sure it doesn't look the same as the original, otherwise you're going to probably get yourself sued. Change all the images and stuff like that, add X fields from your form, and you've got yourself a site that's virtually built. So you could sort of, the way I would use it is, if I saw a layout I liked, I'd use it for that. I'd remove a lot of the content and use Siphon.
Right.
I love Siphon. It's one of those products that you've released, Daryl, that you paste in a few URLs and it gets all the content for you, and it rewrites it. I mean, that's the clever thing. And I've used other AI products that are out there, and the problem with a lot of the AI products, when you want to write content for, let's say, a plumber's site, it will write it as if it's a blog. It will not write it as if it's come, from a section saying about boiler repairs. With yours, you can find 5, 6, 7 sites online that you like the content from. Enter the URLs in, say how many paragraphs you want, and boom, you've got your material, which you can then paste into the form. I think it's just and unique.
And make sure you cover your tracks by changing the company name and things like that. But it becomes your own content because it changes that much. We're really excited about Siphon. Like I said, we had a company we are now doing development for that wanted us to take a part of Siphon and put it into their product. And so we've been doing that. And so because we've, plan to do some additional things to Siphon to make it even better, we're pretty excited about where that's going as its own standalone product. So
I think it's going to be awesome, as standalone for people who. Hello, Andrew.
Andrew's here. We can get started. Should we start off with and just repeat everything first, Andrew? Now you can watch the replay, buddy.
I know. Robert popped in and Andrew has. Just to say, I've talked about the webinar I'm doing Monday night. It'll be this time when we start this, but tomorrow night on a Webby. I'm talking about Peter Drew's new software. Daryl talked about the domain names on expired domains, and that's great content that was there, Daryl. So watch that again. Have I missed anything?
No, I think that's about it. I think that
we're on to Siphon.
We talked a little bit about Clubhouse because I'm addicted to Clubhouse. I started 2 groups. Clubhouse gives you a chance after you're participating to start your own clubs. So I started a club. If anybody's on Clubhouse, you can find me on there at Daryl Ledyard. But my club is Inbound Marketing, which we'll talk about mass page stuff on there. So I wanted to keep it kind of general. And I misspelled inbound. I didn't realize it was inbound, one word. I made it IN-bound because inbound marketing was already taken. And so you can only have a club name that just stands for one thing. So if you do jump on there, just try to find in-bound marketing, join that. And then we're going to have talks about mass page eventually once more people jump on.
And I tell you what, you and I are now beta testers for Mike, and I can't wait for when we do get the link to the software, to the new version. Mike's already demoed it to me, and it looks amazing, doesn't it? The new MPP.
Yeah, I mean the looks and feel is pretty much what it was before, but the functionality to it, literally, if you spend the time to learn what it can do, it can be a total game changer for you. I've always looked at Magic Page plugin as sort of the Swiss Army knife of the mass page builders because of all of the different features that Mike has crammed into it. So I really think now with this, it's going to be a real game changer what this can do. And I really look forward to people in the community taking and stretching what they do with it to just see how far they can take it. Because I think that's going to be a really, really great thing. We are almost up to 750 hours of view time on YouTube. So if you haven't watched our videos on YouTube, check them out. We have quite a few on there. We're adding more and more. I just put one out today or yesterday about IPTC data from the form without Magic Page plugin. So if you haven't checked that out, please do check that out because it's very, very helpful with our new plugin to be able to bring in those images. Hi, Simon. How's it going? So the thing is like what you were just talking about with 10 web, okay? With 10 web, if you use that plugin that we have, you would be able to bring in my images into 10 web very easily into the medium library and just add them to replace the images in 10 web.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So then you would have those optimized images right away. So definitely something to consider watching that video and see if you can get some value on that. So I've also had some people report back to me about the Trust Flow article or video that they're getting good domains off of that technique of using the Wayback Machine to find actual domains that are expired that they can't find anywhere else. So definitely very good. Simon is giving you props there, Stephen.
Yeah, you're welcome. Look, I try and help most people out where I can. I've only got one pair of hands. When people drop me information, I'm always happy to give them a hand. And I have said this before. Last week, few people won, and anyone who's in the past who's won from me, one of the directory sites. Make sure you message me direct on Facebook. I get your messages instantly. Now I'm back to normal next week. If I haven't caught up to date with you, ping me a message and remind me. Make sure you've got your WordPress site set up so I can log in, and I'll do the work for those that have won theirs and get it all sorted for you. So it won't take me long.
All right, nice. Anything else I can think of? Let me think. There was a few other things. We're so close to having Traffic Factory integration. I wish I could show you guys that. I want to wait until we do a webinar with Patrick Tuttle and the gang over there. So I don't want to reveal it quite yet, but we're just so close. And I have a meeting with the developer to kind of show a couple more things I want changed on it. But once we get this integration, I think we'll have that kind of understanding of what needs to happen to make other integrations happen. This is probably the hardest one we could have done to start off with. So it'll get us conditioned for the next ones. And that's what's really important. Let me
Here's
think.
a question for you, Daryl.
Yep.
Roadmap wise, with your magic form, as I like to call it, you've obviously, you're going to be adding Patrick's tool in there, and I know you've mentioned a few times other mass page builders and stuff, and this is an ongoing project. I was just wondering if there's anything you can let out the bag to people for that. I know we don't like to give away too much, but also it's nice for people who are customers on a sort of a mini roadmap over the next year or 2 years of how you see, because this tool's just going to get more and more powerful. I can see that.
Yeah. So I can't discuss every single thing that we're planning to do because some of them will be additional softwares that will go alongside ImageFly and Siphon.site, Geoholics, and Leads Detective. All of these things will be sort of a suite of softwares, and where we find opportunities to make additional softwares that will help people all in the same vertebrae, in the same space, we would consider doing it. I'm not going to go and build, sites, programs that don't matter to people in the space of SEO, digital marketing, all that kind of stuff. But one of the things I would like to have is, and we're getting close to it, is I'd like to be able to make it so that you can choose to export to any of these other products, MWB, Page Generator Pro, all Magic Page Plugin, obviously, Traffic Factory, all of these different programs we want you to be able to have outputs for. But I would like you to be also able to have an output to just create an HTML site, a basic HTML site from stuff in the form. So you would basically be able to have a HTML zip file that you can put into any hosting and just like launch it from there, because we have all the pieces and parts to that. And it shouldn't be that hard to sort of make that happen with an HTML template, right? So that is kind of one of the areas that I would like to see it go to. But I don't like the idea of helping people to make so many sites if they're not going to be successful. I want the sites to be successful. I don't want people to go in and make a 10,000 page site and then find out that it doesn't rank because it's not going to rank in today's climate. So we want to go alongside of what Google's asking for and try to add value to the user, try to get those user signals and click-through rates as high as they can be, and try to give something of value to the long tail search. Google's looking to have information to throw into a long tail search. It's looking for that information. So you might as well produce something that will get ranked for that long tail search term, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea, is to give people tools that don't get you banned, don't get you in trouble with Google, and gets something good that the user experience will be good. I see so many tools out there that when they look at the content, it's terrible. And I would think that Google over the next between 1 and 5 years is going to get rid of that stuff, so you basically can't find it through their search engine, and spam content is spam content. If you put spam content in my form, you're going to get spam content out. So what I want you to do is have very good quality content, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you put in quality and you put it through my form and then you put it through a nice tool, you're going to have something good on the other side, and you can rinse and repeat with my form much better than almost anything I can think of, because of the way we tokenize it, the way we do spin text and process the images and everything. So yeah, I guess the long story I just gave you. The short story is, yes, we want to do it if it's germane to folks doing this type of work. If it works for that, then yes, I'm all for it. So.
I think for me, with updates, we're cracking on with getting the rest of the themes converted to child themes, and then I'm putting together my own training course for building. It's going to be over the shoulder training of building a directory site from start to finish, and adding all the content, and then there'll be a further course eventually on building a site using using your form and the themes club. And then later on in the year, I'd like to do how I build my PBNs and citations. So those are the things that sort of all come together. And like you said, Google at the moment, I always say content is king. And I set a blog up, just a basic WordPress site a while ago, and I was chucking content at it regularly. That was spun content, fresh content coming in, and it's getting seen in the search engines. But I made sure that it was just one niche area rather than just general news. Excuse me. And now it's doing really well because I've added AdSense to it, where I generate an income from Google. And actually, on that domain name I did nothing with, I'm making about $40 a month out of it, and I'm not doing a huge amount of work to it. You know, that domain name was sat around doing nothing. So you know, if I decide to times that by 10. I could end up with that income there. I've got my income where I say this to a lot of people who are starting out in mass page, right? That I build sites that I rent. I don't rank them. I don't offer to rank them. I build for example, a plumber's site. I use Daryl's magic form to fill in all the data. I will then make a list of 10 businesses from Google that don't have websites, and I'll ring up one by one and say, I see you don't have a website. I've built one for you. Would you like to just take a look at it? I don't say price, or I'm going to sell it, or anything like that. And out of 10 companies, I always get one going, oh, I love that. And when I do a dirt cheap price to get them on board, like $50 a month,
month, yeah,
right. I say $50 a month. That's your site. You can rent it from me, use it. We'll add data to it, you know, and then I leave them for a couple of months, and I go back and then offer to rank it on page 1 of Google for an extra $150. And I've got 2 clients on board now that pay me $150, and all I've done is citations for the domain name, and I've gone and pointed the domain name. I've set it up in a way that it's got a tracker number on it that goes to the client, and they're happy. They're paying me. If they leave me, I'll switch it to lead generation. So you know, Robert's got a question. Do you have any working practices of getting sites indexed quicker in Google? There's the 3 steps I do. 1, I make sure I've got a sitemap with all the pages in that sitemap that I want Google to find, or any other search engine. That's step 1. Step 2, build your citations and build them properly. Don't just do spammy citations with no images. Add images, add bio, add a link back to the site you want, and do all your citations first. Then the third thing I do is I'll add a blog to the site. I won't necessarily have the blog link on the front page, but I'll add a blog to the site, and I will actually either pay someone to generate the articles, or I'll generate the articles myself, of 2 a week for the next 12 months pre-scheduled. When they go on there, then IFTTT shares them to Facebook. IFTTT shares them from Facebook to Twitter, and so on. And when all that is set up, the last thing I do is a GMB. That's the very last thing I do of all, is a GMB. Because on average, by the time you've done all that, and it's taking you a couple of months or 3 months to do it, and if you want it quicker, outsource it to Upwork. Right. You know, when you've done a video for an Upwork guy to show him what you want doing, you've done it the first time yourself and recorded it, then you can pay an Upwork guy a really low price to do all that work for you for the second site. So it's all being done for you while you're still doing other more important things for your business. When you've done all of that, and you've got good content on your site and good keywords and SEO and schema, then you'll find your site will rank quickly. And the quickest time I've ever ranked a site was a month. That's the quickest I've ever got it down to, and that took me 3 weeks to get all the data in there. And by the 4th/5th week, it was being found on page 1 of Google locally.
Yeah, Robert, I'll just add to what Stephen was saying. You can use my form even before you have a GMB, just by putting in the address in the company name, then going back up. And so that'll grab the latitude, longitude, which you can use for your maps, and you can use for your name, address, phone number. And then what you do is you put in the company name inside of the company, and then hit tab. Or I think escape works as well. And that'll just hold that company name inside there. So when you do build your GMB, okay, Google already identifies that latitude and longitude and all of that information that comes in through our form. to that GMB address. So you'll already be right in sync with Google when you finally do your GMB. Okay. So you want to make sure that you do that, one and first most. The other thing is, the first answer that came to mind to me is, how do you get Google to index your page? And what, snide remark I had in my brain was, don't try. make it so that Google basically has to find you on their own. And it seems like those pages get indexed a lot better than if you try to throw it down Google's throat that you're there. So I just find a lot of times the un-SEO approach is the best SEO approach when it comes to things like that. Anything you want to add, Stephen?
I fully agree with you. That's why I have a sitemap with Magic Page as it is, right? The dynamic pages. People say, "How do I index dynamic pages?" Well, you get you get a bunch of the URLs and add them to the sitemap, so you can then start finding them. And then you've got the nearby city tabs. So when it finds one of those sites in the sitemap, it will then find the nearby cities and click on one of those, and then click on one of those and keep adding itself. Right, and then, like Daryl said, some people like to go to Google Console and add the sitemap and stuff like that. I leave that well alone, but I do the citations, I do backlinking from high PR sites like social media, and Google will eventually find the link and go and look at your site and go, wow, he's got a 50-page website running here with spun unique content, and it's user friendly. That's the other thing to remember. Make it user friendly. I've got a friend who's colorblind, and I get him to look at all my websites, and he says to me, yellows are a problem for him. And some, he can read black background with white text, okay. If it's colored light text, he struggles. So always think about the point of view that you may want an amazing looking site. And I've got a guy who I work with, a good friend who I built his site for him. He went and changed all the colors. All right, and I got my friend who's colorblind to do a report for me. I sent it to him, and he shrugged it off, And I went, well, mate, you're not going to get as many bookings for what you do if you're not going to be user friendly on your site. He's dropped off a page one of Google because people are on there for 3 seconds. They can't read it. They come off. Yeah. And finally, this week, he's turned around to me and said, "What do I have to do to get it right?" And I said, "Well, I told you in the first place. Nice, user friendly, bold colors. Blacks, blues. You can even get away with reds." Because you can still read them, but make sure the background's a good color.
I would love to have him look at our site mass.page to see if that green is acceptable to him to still see the white, because I would love to see that. We do have the handicap accessible icon over to the left side where you can add contrast to it. So, but I still would love to have you get me some feedback on that. I really would appreciate that.
Someone said hi. I think it might be from your Facebook group, possibly.
Maybe I don't see it.
No, I will double check mine again then, because mine's not up. Mine's been a bit slow updating today.
Yeah.
But hello, Facebook user. When you come onto Facebook, there's an option on the live where you can allow StreamYard to show your name. And so it's well worth clicking on that just to say hello, and so we know who you are.
Andrew says it is readable, and he is colorblind. So
hey, thank you, Andrew.
Awesome.
And now we know who someone else we can ask. You see,
yeah.
So these are things that people don't always think about. Is be able to use a site properly. I know now that there are, like, Google has text to speech available, so when you hover over stuff, but I haven't got my head around it quite yet, what you need to add to the site so when you hover over it, it'll talk to you. But that's something I think there's so many things I have to work on at the moment, that if you end up going off on too many paths, your work gets diluted. And I'd say this to a lot of people. I've got a whiteboard here, and I've got a list of the top 4 things I need to get done, right? And once they are ticked off, then I can work on anything else. So an hour each day for me is doing support, whether that's one-on-one paid support, or I'm answering support tickets, or someone's messaged me on Facebook with an issue and I'm replying back by text. That's 1 hour a day I do that. and then I have an extra hour a day available. So if I've got a paid member who's paying me monthly for one-on-one support, so that ends up being 2 hours a day of my time that's used up. And then the rest of the time is focusing on these things I've got up on my whiteboard. And I will not do anything else. Like I've been playing with bots over the weekend. I will not be carrying on from I will not be playing with bots during the week, because I want to focus on this work and get this done. When this is all wiped off, my whiteboard is blank, then I'll play around and build on bots. So
speaking of bots, I was wondering if the folks on this call has seen drone FAA licensed people putting up websites to get leads to do drone work for like realtors and things like that, because there's certain areas you have to have a license to fly a drone. And as you were saying bots, I was just thinking about this. I think that is a great niche for people to get into, is because sometimes you want to hire a drone to take a picture of your property, or you want to pay, so you got to keep your ear to the trends. And, as Steve was talking about bots, we're talking about AI, everybody has a drone, but not everybody has a professional drone that can take professional pictures, whether it's for a movie maker, whether it's for a real estate agent, whether it's for a commercial, to be able to do professional drone footage for people. I've run into, in the last year, probably 3 people that are in that space. So they've got to be looking for leads, and that might be just another industry that you could go after, going after. So always be listening for the next thing. Obviously, the plumbers and the locksmiths have been done. Pest control's been done. What is the next thing? What is the next small niche that you can go and capitalize on, and find a way to make some money on it? So sorry, just was going off. I was thinking about it. I was like, that is a good lead gen space, because who's going after that?
No, and I've got a chap who lives in the southwest who does photography with drones, and he wasn't getting any business in. I added Magic Page to it organically, and he's chuffed to bits, and he's only doing it part time. So I still love, Daryl, your pizza experiment.
The pizza world.
With the images, I mean, that is just so blooming brilliant. I did some tests myself. Yeah. It's amazing how powerful that is from when you did that.
Yeah, somebody mentioned to me in the group if they should use IP or EXIF data, and they said that it didn't work for them. I implore you to try the IPTC data and set it right and optimize those images, and I think you'll have something there. Simon, I have a question for you. He says he's a pro drone pilot. What does a booking typically earn you? What kind of fee do you charge to do a custom drone photography for, let's say, somebody's property? What do you charge per hour, or per what's a lead worth to you? I'm wondering if you want to throw that in the chat. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is you got to be keeping your ear to the ground. And whenever there's a new industry that starts to pick up and the competition is low, that's when you go after it and you start to become the authority on that. So about 150 euros per hour.
That's pounds. That's in pounds. That is.
Oh, okay, pounds.
Simon's in the UK like me.
That's about I don't know, about 100. Is it more or less?
It'll be more, because I think it'd be like under $200. And £250 for a 2-hour shoot. So that'd be like, over. I think it might be just over a couple $100. Sorry, for that one, it'd be like $350 at a guess. I don't know what the exchange rate is at the minute, but
that's more than some lawyers are making. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. So, you think about those kinds of ancillary services that support other services, like cleaning services, right?
Mm.
There's all kinds of cleaning services, but what about cleaning from a crime scene, right? I have a domain, cleanupdoctors.com, and I had this company try to reach out to me to buy that from me for their cleaning service that just cleans up after crime scenes. Like that's like their biggest thing, right? After all the fingerprinting's been done, if they got to clean up the blood, they got to clean up, any kind of, thing like that. They do that type of thing. So there's all these little niches within niches that you can find that that are definitely worth something. So he said about $207 US for a 2-hour shoot. So, or I'm sorry, 1 hour. So $200 an hour. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, so if you get that license, you're allowed to fly in certain areas, and you're allowed to fly higher, I believe. And if you have a great camera on there, you can take some great pictures. So
I
think it's really, really cool to have that as an option. All right. Anything else you want to join? We can open up the line for people to join us. I'm not sure if anybody's going to join us today, but if you want
before we do, what I will say is, are you doing the thing we mentioned before we went live, where you showed me the list?
Yeah, we'll do that after we do the.
Do you want to get names? Do you want to get names in there while we're inviting people on?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to get in on the contest to win a domain from Daryl's collection, go ahead and put your name inside the group, and we'll go ahead and add you to the wheel of names, and we'll draw that coming up in just a little bit. Robert was saying watch a show using drones and heat-seeking cameras to find super snakes at night. Ooh, cool! I didn't even think of that. That's cool. Yeah, drones can be used for a whole lot. George times 100. He's stacking his name so that he wins. Add me, please.
And right. Rich.
Yep. So we'll go ahead and we'll add these into the wheel of names. I'm just going to go ahead and open up the chat line here. If you guys want to call in, you're welcome to. I can't show you what domains yet, so we've got to get you guys to join up if you want to see what your opportunity is. So if you want to join us on here today, it's go.ht/guest to answer questions live and in person. So that's go.ht/guest. I'm going to put
this is a great. I've just put in the chat for you now as well. So,
all right.
So great opportunity where you can pop on, come and say hello. Now, if you come and join us, turn off your Facebook feed or your YouTube channel. Otherwise, you'll be hearing an echo and a delay, and it will totally confuse you. But come and pop on and come and say hello to us. And you know, this is an opportunity where you can come and ask us questions. So it's a great opportunity, and you get both me and Daryl, so 2 for the price of 1, where you can just pop on, ask a couple of questions, and if you're struggling with something or you want direction, normally me and Daryl, we charge by the hour for this for direct chats, don't we? So it's like I said, a great opportunity. Click on the link in the chat, https://go.ht/guest, and it'll bring you straight in here, and we'll bring you on live, and you can ask questions. We'll give you a few minutes because I know it takes a while for the streams to reach you guys. And if we don't get anyone in, then we will spin your names. So get your names in if you haven't already. We got Robert, George, Simon, Rich, Andrew, Susanna, Don. I think I've mentioned everyone there, haven't I? So if you haven't got your name on the lucky wheel, then pop your name in now, and then in a moment or two we will spin it. If you want to be someone that shouts spin,
there you go.
Come on. pop on.
Join us,
If
join us.
it's just doing that, come and say hello,
Yeah.
and pop on to go.ht/guest and come and say hello to us and just say spin.
I think we should get Susanna on here because she hasn't won one from us before, so she should join us online, and we'll.
I had a nice chat. I had a nice chat with Susanna last week, and a lovely lady to talk to, and her direction. I think she's just doing a lot of amazing things, along with Simon and other people who I've spoken to. I speak to so many people that I end up then getting on with my work and forgetting who I talk to. So that's why I'm saying tonight, anyone who on the previous weeks who has won from me, I've got your names on the list, mind, so I can reach out to you. But if you've won a directory site from me in the past, then just send me a message on Facebook and I'll get the directory site installed. And I'm also going to add the location data for those people. So, but I've got enough in the pool at the moment to get on with, and that giveaway will come back at a later time because I've got enough work to get done at the moment. So,
okay.
If I had two of me, then I would be offering one every week, but I haven't got the time.
Well, maybe you can use that bot to get you more time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with and if the bot works out well, actually, that was a question I was going to ask people in your line of work that you guys are all doing. What is the one thing that slows you down? Is it setting up WordPress? Is it because we've got tools that will speed things up for you. Install one of my themes, fill in Daryl's form, and you've got yourself a website built. You just got to tweak it a little bit. It sort of gets you going if you don't understand X fields. But what if there is something that you think could speed up, like maybe I mentioned at the start of the call, I'm building a bot to install WordPress for me. So you get the WordPress install screen up, you open the bot, but your username, password, site name, email address in on the bot. You click go, it installs the bot, installs Elementor, some other plugins that are useful, and then boom, it's all done for you. So if there's something that you think would speed up your life with setting all of this up, I'd love to hear from you guys, because then it gives me some ideas for when I've got the training sessions all set up later time. Then I can look at building a bot for that. So let's have a look at the most of the time consuming doing things myself, not enough hours in a day. There's two things you can do there, Susanna. One, what I do when I haven't got enough hours in the day, I make a list on my whiteboard, most important things I need to get done. When I do them, I record my screen and I talk through what I'm doing, and then I cut it down. I cut all the errors or some of the gaps out, speed up a bit, and then I save it in case I ever want to pay someone on Upwork to do the work for me. And I can chuck that video up and I say, this is what I did the last time. I want it doing again, but on a different domain name. Can you do it for me? And when people watch that video, you'll get far bigger response on Upwork by showing that video than just putting a post up going, I need someone to install WordPress and do this for me, And when you'll get, I did a project a little while ago for a client, and I put up, I think it must have been one video, and I had 50 different people offering to do the work. So, it's great. Rounding up content, images, icons as such.
That's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what takes some time, but once you've done it, you've pretty much got it. What I recommend, Don, is you do that all at once. So you take your niche and you go after, like I like to use 123RF because you can get 750 images for $199 a month. And so I'll just go in and download as much as I need. It's all licensed and everything. I'll download as many as I need, and then I'll do as many icons as I need from like Icon Finder or the Noun Project or whatever, and just put them in a folder, store them away. Even if you have 700 images, you could always use those, right? So do them all at once. I look at it like building an assembly line. Get all your pieces and parts together first. and then use my form to speed up the process into Magic Page plugin, and I think that'll help you quite a bit.
You know, people say content is a hard thing. It isn't, right? And now Daryl's Forms come along, content's even easier because of Siphon. And you know, I mentioned this at the start. I'm not just saying this because Daryl's here. I've told loads of people about Siphon, and I love Siphon because you enter in, you find a bunch of websites that you like the look of. That's the first thing I do when I'm building a plumber site. I will go and look for 5 or 6 websites that I like the look of with tons of content, and I will save those. What I used to do was I copy and paste content from them onto my site. Now what I do is I take the list of 10 that I like, chuck them in Siphon, it finds the content and then rewrites it for me. I read through it, I go, oh, that's not quite how I want it wording. I just tweak that a little bit. Now I'm going to spin the content, and boom, I've got myself that done once for that plumber site on Daryl's form, which means then, right, you can then use it again and again and again. And so that part's all done for you. The images, there are plenty of stock image sites out there, and Daryl's mentioned a fantastic one there. 123 Reg, was it called again?
RF, royalty.
RF, 123 RF, yeah. So as long as it's royalty-free images, you're fine. You know, and I think you know, it's amazing. Susanna, Siphon is part. If you look at maths.page, go to maths.page. It's part of Daryl's tools. Siphon is. It's one of the things on. You got 3 different plans, haven't you, Daryl?
Yeah, I can basically show it to you if you would like. I can do that right now if you want.
Yeah.
So if you go to app.maths.page, I'm assuming that you have maths.page. We have a thing called Siphon right here. And what he's talking about is putting in his URLs. Did you say you put 10 URLs in before?
On yours I use 5, but I get 10 URLs in a list.
Okay.
So that way, then I can enter 5 in. I can grab some data. If I haven't got enough data, I've got more URLs available to me. And plus, it also means that if you've used the first 5 up and you want to do a different plumber site, you can then just stick those in to do another mass form. So that's why I put together. I like to find 10 URLs, and I love the sites with tons of content. A lot of people are lazy, and you'll go to a site and it'll have, like, you know, a few images and a little bit of content. They're not the ones you want, and they'll hopefully will find a good one in a moment on the screen here that you'll get that will have a big list of data that you can pull in to the system. And I'm, you know, there's been a lot of products out there that can do AI. But what I love about Siphon the most is you enter in your 5 URLs, you tell it, I want so much content, please, and it rewrites it for you, unique. That's what I love about it, and you can paste in the niche sites you're working with, like this one that Dale was showing you.
Yeah, so this one is great. You know, this one has quite a few pages of content. Okay. So I'm just going to grab these pages of content that he has here. So we got block drains. Okay. This one is cistern pumping. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a notepad. And what I'll do is I'll take each of these URLs. Okay. So burst water pipes. I'll grab this and put it in. And then I'll grab this one here, block drains. I'll grab that. Okay. Now, you could do this from several other websites, but I just liked how this guy's got actually some content that you'll be able to grab from here. So we're just going to grab 5 of his pages here. Right. And so the steps that Steven said are exactly right. Is after you do this, you should then do spin text on it. Okay. So it's sort of a multi-step process. So we got 5 pages here that we're going to go ahead and put into Siphon. And we're just going to stick them into here. Okay. Now we're going to say on each page we want 500 sentences, and we're going to hit Siphon. Okay. And it's going to go through and it's going to scrape each one of these sites and grab and make several boxes, okay, that you can use to sort of build up your content. You can see it's doing its processing now. And hopefully, this is in Australia. You'll be able to grab this content and repurpose it.
Now, there are some sites out there that sometimes they have plugins that can block content being trawled from sites. So if you happen to put in a URL and it doesn't come back with a result, it could be that reason. I've had other AI products that trawl sites or meant to, and the data doesn't come back. So and it's just down to a plugin they've added to their site to stop content from being taken.
Yeah, but based on the time that this is taking, I'm assuming that the content is rich and there's a lot to rewrite. So, yep. And then what you're going to do is you're going to replace the company name with our tags. So if you change the company name to the token, every time you change the company up at the top, it'll go ahead and change that mention inside of the content. Okay. So
Andrew says Jim has tons of different services as well, mowing, tree services, etc. Yeah, Jim's busy, isn't he? He's only got one pair of hands, but he's out. He actually works 24/7. He does. He never sleeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and coffee injected into himself.
He's in Australia, so he's one of Andrew's cousins. All right, so here you go. So now it's grabbed all of this content and it's put it in different phraseology, okay, for each page. So then it's broken into each sentence. So you can go ahead and decide whether you want to keep this sentence or change it or not. And so you could just copy and paste this all into a notepad and use it as your starter content to get you working, right? Wherever it says Jim's Plumbing, you can go ahead and change that into your company name. And you'd be able to repurpose this if the information is spot on for your business as well. So there are certain things in here that are brands that will definitely trigger like the copy escape stuff. Like this type of thing will definitely, anything that has a formal brand will definitely do that. But a lot of these things, once they're rephrased, they're good to go. Okay, so that's Siphon on the side here, but that same functionality, I'm just going to cancel this out, is in here. So inside the form, you can hit Siphon, and you can go ahead and put in the information here, and it'll go ahead and siphon it for you. Now, one of the things that some people don't know is when you put in a website in here, I'm going to put in https : when you put in a website, it's going to automatically scrape that and put the data into here. Okay. So it's automatically taking that website and giving you a head start on the services if we know what it is. Okay. So this basically came from Mass Page Tools. And so you can go ahead and readjust this kind of thing. So this only exists if you have the enterprise plan, which if you go in here, you'll see that is currently priced at $297 a month. We do have a promo code out there that Mike's group has. It's 65% off that. And if you attend any of my webinars, I give you 50% off of that price. So you would have that as well. It just depends on what option you're looking for. All right. So that's Siphon. So thanks for that question. There's a few.
And I was timing that right from when you put those 5 URLs in, right, and it was under 3 minutes. I think it was actually closer to a couple of minutes of it pulling that data from the site. It was quicker than what it would take me to copy and paste from each of those pages. So it's pulled it in. You can then grab that data and stick it, like Dale said, on a notepad, read through it, and have a look and go, right, I want that, and that. I'm going to change that wording because I know that's a brand to my own wording. And now I've got that content. Save the document. Save it in Google Docs. Save it on a notepad. And that's the point then when you can then say, right, now I'm going to take the content I've got and I'm going to add it to a form, and I'm going to spin it, and away we go. And so it's, how quick is that? I mean, I'm every time I'm impressed by it, Daryl, that you can just so quickly go list of sites and boom, click. And Daryl's even giving you a site there, right? That that you can, that if you're doing all those services that has been mentioned, I think it's awesome, that you can just grab data and it's different every time.
Yeah, you could change, you could grab from several different companies, just spend a little bit of time, take a look at it. You don't have to use the scraping feature if you don't want to. We built that in because we're going to have another step, which will be a searching step, versus, you having to go in and find the URLs. It'll find the URLs for you, based on the search term that you put in. So that's what we're hoping to have come. And so that'll grab stuff directly from Google that has documentation, or not documentation, content that we can easily scrape. So we're going to use the AI that's going to find the best pages to scrape good content from. And so that'll be built into the system. All right, one last call. If you Robert said, after the 5 URLs, it's spun, or it has to be spun. You have to spin it afterwards. I recommend manual spinning. But if you get the 5 URLs output, it's already changed, so that when you do any kind of manual spinning, it's going to make it even that much more different. That's why we have this as sort of that phase of the summarization and rephrasing. That gets you a little bit closer to where you want to be. All right. Good question, though. Anybody else want to join in on the contest? Let me now display what domains are up for grabs. And I got to get rid of that banner. There we go. So expertquotes.com, windowsreplacing.com, mylocalbuy.com, and homebuyerlead.com. Okay,
well, that's a nice. Both of those two, all of them are really nice. Home buyer lead and my local buy, very nice. And window replacing, wow. And I guess all of them. I'll put my name in for Steve not to win, and
you're gonna quit the show just so you can win a domain.
But guys, if we'll show the wheel in a minute. If your name's not on the wheel, then obviously you need to make sure that your name is. So if you haven't already put your name down, pop it in the chat, and I will have to shout spin this time if no one's going to come on to shout spin for us.
Okay.
And we always love hearing from you guys. We really do. So Facebook uses, how do I apply? So if your name's not on the wheel, we'll give you a moment or two. If your name's not on the wheel, type your name in now. So Brian just pops his name down. So add Brian to the list.
Yep.
So it's the last call for you got to be in it to win it, and you'll win one of those domain names that Dale was showing you. While we're spinning that, just a couple of reminders for you guys. One is that tomorrow night, 10 p.m. GMT, 5 p.m. in the USA. It's always the same time as this, but on Monday night, I'm doing a run through of Peter Drew's new plugin, Brute Force SEO. There's no sales on it. It's just me going through it, testing it. I'm testing the beta mode at the moment. So you're most welcome to come and join. I'll try and find the link in a minute from my group and share it in the chat as well for people. So you're most welcome to come along to it. It's a freebie, no sales. And Dale, you've got a webinar coming up. Is it next Sunday?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. So every Sunday, if you go to our website, there's a chance for you to ask me questions. and for me to go through and demo anything that you have. We kind of have it on the website as a catch-all.
Yeah.
You just click on this here on the website. It's free webinar this week, and this is basically for anybody that's new to our program. They can go ahead and schedule themselves for a walkthrough demo, but it's also a Q&A session for those that are more experienced that just want to ask me some questions. So that's what it turns out to be. If you've missed the program, you can go into here, and we do have a replay link that you can watch. All you have to do is sign in to see the replay from today's 38-minute questions answers on there. So you'll definitely be able to do that if that's something that you're looking to do. Anybody else wants to join in on this domain giveaway? We've got 11 people watching. I don't think we have 11 people. So if there's anybody that's wants to be added after Brian, we can go ahead and get you added on here.
Last chance, last call now. You'll be in it to win it. You're going to get one of those domain names just by having your name on here, and the lucky wheel of fortune will spin around, and away it goes. And Andrew's saying, let's have a look at this. He says, I bought the Revenge, can't get it to run properly, so looking forward to... Yep. There's a few people that have had issues. A little tip for you, Andrew, with Peter Drew software that I found is make sure your Windows is updates all up to date as well. Dale's just asked to be added if he's not already on the wheel. So make sure you update Windows, do Windows Update. I'm running it on a VPS, and I'll share the VPS where I get it from. I'm not an affiliate with them, so I'll be sharing that tomorrow night where I got mine from. You can, I find it better on a VPS if you can afford to pay for one. It's only about $25 a month or something like that for VPS, and it just means that you can just leave. You can run it and set and forget it. And I bought from and I'm trying to remember the name of the site. It's like Fiverr, but it's a different one. That I got my YouTube channels ready done on there as well. But I'm good. The site, I've already done the install of the product of Pete's product on my server, so I can't go for that again. Otherwise, I have to get my license reset. But I will advise people what I've done on there, and then I will show you my setup from start to finish. What I do with the YouTube accounts, how I run the product itself, and I'm going to run it live. So in other words, if it crashes and goes wrong, it'll go wrong on the live. All right. But the few times I have run it, the only issue I've had is with YouTube videos not being shown on the embeds, and I'll show you how to fix that as well. Thank you, Susanna. Susanna told me about Legit, and on Legit, for those that want to know the one that Susanna uses, I'm quite happy for Susanna to post a link in our groups, in a group chat, and or you can reach out to Susanna. There's a guy that I used, and I had 20 accounts done within 24 hours. It's great. The only thing you got to do is enable the live. So
Andrew says he's on a VPS and it's crashing for him.
I had a similar issue, and I'll talk about that tomorrow evening on the Webby on how I corrected that, just to make sure that it's all correct for you. So, and also that can come down to the type of VPS you're running it on. So, but we can look at that, and also there'll be an opportunity near the end where you can pop on live and share with me, because even if it's being recorded at the end, I'll invite people on, and that end bit will not be recorded or shared out. So if in case you're worried about any sort of data being shared out, that won't happen.
All right. What do you think? Do you think it's time?
I think it's time. So I tell you what, right? Rather than me shout it out, the first person to type spin in the chat, we will hit the button. So I'm waiting for the first person to type spin in the chat. Any minute now. I know there's a bit of delay.
There's a bit of a delay. Yeah,
so yeah, so twiddle our thumbs for a minute, watch paint dry until someone types spin, and then we'll hit the button. So
okay.
So, and thank you for being in it to win it. Here we go. Andrew said spin.
We spun it. Let's see if it lands on Andrew. Nice.
What's the chances of that, eh?
Andrew. on your own name, buddy.
Look at that, and it is random. The wheel's random. It isn't,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, if it was fixed, I'd have my name on it.
So, Andrew, we've got 4 domains you can pick from: A, B, C, or D. Tell us which one that you would like to take and put into your domain collection. Are you in any of these niches? I think My Local Buy is a great one because people like to buy local. If you're into real estate, home buyer lead may be helpful. If you want to start a window replacing niche, we got that. And Quote Experts if you just want something for general quotes.
I'd get the Windows replacing one myself, right? And then I'll do a site about switching to Apple products or Linux.
No, this is for like the replacement windows.
He loves mylocalbuy.com.
I love it too. Good
Yeah, good choice.
Good, congratulations, Andrew. We'll get that transferred over to you. Just reach out to me on Facebook, and we'll get that switched over to you. If you ever want to buy a domain from me, it's go.ht/domains. Go.ht/domains. And you can see the domains that I have up for sale inside the system. So if there's any of these that you want to buy or other ones, feel free to do that. Contact me if you ever want to work a deal, and we'll work something out. That's everything is negotiable. So anyway, I like catch and release. You know what I mean? Like when you go fishing, you catch your fish, then you release it. Well, I like to get a good domain and get it in the hands of somebody that can build something cool with it. So that's what I like to do. And
of course, guys, every week Daryl does this. So, make sure you're here next week. You got to be on the lives to have your name added to be in it to win it. And also during the week on the replays, if you can't make it to the lives, put a question in for us, and also just drop a message to Daryl. Tag Daryl in a message if you genuinely can't make it for whatever reason because of the time we go out. And I'm sure if you smile nicely at me, it would add your name if you can't make it. But ideally, we prefer you to be on here live because we love the interaction. Just a quick question for you guys. I'd love to get a 1 from you lot if you find what we're doing is useful and sharing with you and being here for you as well. So it's always nice to know that we're doing the right things for you guys. And if there's some sort of training we can do on our lives, please let us know, because we're always happy to look into things, other options. It isn't just about the products that we own and run for you. It could be, you may have a question to do with ranking a site or something. So please, drop some questions in the chat. We'll always look out for them and try and come up with solutions for you as well. Thank you, guys. Look at that. We're getting ones from Simon, Susanna, George, Robert.
That's awesome.
Great to know. We love you guys being on here, and we are really grateful for your interaction. That's why we turn up and do this, and we'd love to share with you, and we give you the opportunity as well to, like I said, to pop on here and come and talk to us. If there's a week where you feel brave enough to come and say hello and ask us a question, or you prefer your question to be more private, then just drop us a message direct. We're always happy with that as well.
So on the screen here, you see the top contributors inside the group, and Don is leading with the most interactions. He has 60 likes, 51 comments. Andrew comes in second, and George comes in third. So what I'm going to do is this week, after the week goes through, one of the people in the top 5 will be able to, I'm going to put in a drawing to get access to Clubhouse. I will give you an invite to Clubhouse. If you're in the top 5, I'll give you a chance to get that. Okay. So some people are selling them for over $100 to get an invite on Clubhouse. I want to give it to somebody that's active on the channel, on the group. This David Shear, he's adding a lot, and Henry's starting to add more. So feel free to comment, do some posts. Just like posts, things like that.
Share as well.
And when this changes, or if this changes, I'm going to reach out to the people that are the top contributors and ask them, starting from the top of the list down, if they want a Clubhouse, login for that. So if they don't want it, they can offer to give it to somebody else if they want. It just depends on if they want to. So Susanna asked, what is Clubhouse? Clubhouse is a social media that's just voice. It's a little bit like ham radio or CB radio, where people talk about various topics. And we built a club on there called Inbound Marketing, where we're going to talk about the mass page world and lead magnets and how to get leads to come in and all these kinds of things. So we'll have topics that are just on Clubhouse that we talk about that will get you involved in. And then, if you get a membership to Clubhouse, then you could listen to all kinds of different topics. So pretty much any topic you can think of, people are talking about it on Clubhouse. So it's definitely something that you can get addicted to, but it's also something that you can make a lot of good connections. I've made a few good connections that could be worth millions of dollars in business down the road. So I'm definitely very, very excited about it.
So how much time do you spend on Clubhouse, Daryl?
I probably spend a few hours a day on it, probably.
Yeah.
So
you can get quite addicted to it if you're not careful then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch TV, so I have a lot of hours in the day to contribute to other things.
Yeah.
But so I spend the time in some of the domaining rooms. I'm starting to get my fill of that, but I want to start making some of my own rooms. I spent 22 years on the radio, so I started a club called Radio that I'm going to talk to people that are starting podcasts and radio, former radio people. And so, Stephen, we should get you on there, buddy. You've done radio.
Well, I worked in radio for about 10 or more years, independent radio. Loved every minute of it. I wouldn't do it now because it's all been networked in the UK. So, and the only thing that's left locally is community radio stations. And between you and me, they're a bit of a joke. They're the has-beens of radio that are people who never really did well. And, so I wish community radio was better, but I've listened and I don't enjoy it. So, but I ought to get an Apple product at some point to be able to connect, because I'm an Android guy at the moment. But one day I will.
There's some people on there with like an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, like an older iPhone, and you could put the app on. Doesn't require too much that way. Just it's gonna eat through your battery, so you're gonna want to have it plugged in, and you're gonna want to have it on Wi-Fi. And like I was saying earlier in this call, it's best to not use your regular phone for it, I think, because it's going to want access to all your contacts. And what I did was I got rid of all my contacts and just had a few in there. And then I could install the app, and then I could just add people to it that I want to invite. So I'll just add a new contact, then invite them. And that's all the contacts I have on my iPad right now. So that's what I recommend for that. Yeah. All right.
Marvelous.
Awesome. Well, I think we've done it for this week. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Thank you. Yeah.
And like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and share it with your friends. We hope to add value to you every single week. This week, we kind of just threw in some skills that I try to show people and how to interact with the expireddomains.net. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, definitely check that out, because it can score you some really good domains that have some value for you to build on. All right. So Andrew, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And, thank you for tuning in, guys. It's always nice to hear from you. And we get super excited when we see you guys come and join us. So thank you.
Definitely. And let me just see if you have your link on here anymore. The bit.ly.leadgenmagic. Is that for the...
So that's for the webinar tomorrow night. It starts at 10 p.m. GMT, which is the same time that we started tonight for this. and I'll stick it in the chat one more time for everyone as well. And yeah, so there's no sales whatsoever on it, no sales. So it's going to be me just walking through what the product does. Is the reason I'm doing it as well is there's been a few people that own Peter Drew's Hom software, as I call it, and so I've been asked all the time, is it the same? Well, I never had Hom, so I don't know if it's the same. So if you have got Hom and you come onto the webinar itself, then the bonus for you guys then is you can see if it's the same. You can come on and say, actually, it does all of that apart from this. Do I really need it? So Andrew, it's tomorrow evening, 10 p.m. GMT time, which is 5 p.m. EST. So it's basically the same time we started. So over an hour and 40 minutes ago when we started this tonight, that's the time I'm going to be running it. I don't want it to be too long because I know people have other things to get on with. So really, I've worked out it's about half an hour to 45 minutes roughly running it, and I'm only going to do a couple of keywords in it to make it quicker. The more keywords you add, the longer it runs through again and again. So and I made it 10 p.m. because I know, like you know, Andrew, you could make it along. It's not too bad of time for you guys and a lot of people. And then when I finish that, I'm going to stop the recording and give people an opportunity then to you know, sort of pop on live if they're having any issues, and I'll try and help you the best I can. It's not my product at all. I'm not selling it. I'm not an affiliate on it, but because I'm in the beta group and I've had fun with it, I decided, you know, yes, it's worth showing you guys. It will be recorded up to the point where then I'm going to work out a way if I can hit the stop button at the point when I invite people on to ask questions. So if you want to know what everyone's talking about, you've got to be on the live. There will be a point when I'm going to say, right, I'm going to stop now. Do you want to come on live and ask me stuff? Because there may be some people that have VPSs they don't want it recorded on the live, and so I've got to respect that privacy. I don't mind sharing my VPS. I've got nothing to hide on there. You know, I don't mind showing all the bells and whistles with it because I'll just go through it and show you what I do with the product.
Okay, sounds good. So there you've had it. That's our Sunday live, hour and 41 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to spread the word. We do this every Sunday starting at 5 o'clock Eastern time. And hopefully we get a few more people next week and we can give away more domains and have some more fun.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Have a nice.
Thank you as always, Daryl.
Yep. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys.